Welcome to another interesting tutorial in Classy by Mavi. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to draft a Kiddies bodice, okay, a basic bodice for kid. So in no particular order, I'm inserting my shoulder line here. And then I'll also insert a straight line on this side, which will serve as my center front line, okay. So here is my center front, okay. This is how I'll be drafting. And now, the chest circumference I'll be using for this measurement is 23 inches. I'll be dividing 23 into 2. Okay, so 23 divided by 2 gives me 11.5. So I will just mark 11.5 inches here. 11.5 inches. So I'll be drafting front and back all together. Okay, 11.5 inches I marked, and then I added 2 inches for ease. You can add less than 2 for ease since it's a kid. So the next measurement I'm marking is the shoulder to waist, which is 10 inches. Shoulder to waist, 10 inches. I'm marking it across the pattern, both back and front. You know, kids don't have busts, so back and front patterns for kids are equal, okay? So I'm just marking that 11.5 again, 11.5 plus extra 2 inches for ease. Okay, so I am linking, trying to form the block. Can you see? There will be no dots at all. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to divide this block into 2 so we can have our front and our back bodies. Okay, so can you see I'm using my tape to divide it into 2 like this. I'll do the same thing for the waistline area, dividing the bodies into 2. Then I'll mark and then I'll link with a straight ruler. I'm here just confirming what I just did. Okay, so we are in order. Here I'm linking the 2 points with my straight ruler. Now we have our front bodies here and our back bodies. So we'll be drafting accordingly. So having gotten our front and back bodies, next we want to insert our neckline. So the neckline is gotten by dividing the chest circumference by 12. Okay, so our chest circumference is 23. 23 divided by 12 gives us about 1/3. So that's what I'm marking here, 1/3. This is the front, so I'll use the 1/3 also as the width and as the depth. Can you see? So I'll now use my curved ruler to link it beautifully. For children, we call the bust circumference chest circumference because it's not actually a bust circumference yet. Okay, so the next thing is to insert the shoulder width. The shoulder width, our shoulder width is 11 inches, so I'm here marking 5.5. okay, I'm marking 5.5. For our shoulder width, you can measure, you can also use the standard size chart for children. If you would like to see the standard size chart for children, I'll be dropping a link for you to check it out, right? If you want it, let me know in the comment section. So next I am inserting the armhole depth. Okay, now to insert the armhole depth, you first of all measure from shoulder to bust, shoulder to where the child's nipple is. Okay, for that measurement there is a standard you use, your shoulder width measurement divided by 2. Our shoulder width is 11, so divided by 2 is 5.5. So I will mark 5.5 now to get the bust line, so to say. But for a child, it is called the chest line, or it's not that line that the armhole will be resting on. Okay, you know the normal basic bodies for adults, the bust point is not where the armhole rests on. So this is our bust point, so to say. Now from this bust point, we are going up again by 1 inch to get our armhole depth. Okay, that's the area where our armhole will be resting on. So here I'm simply marking the 1 inch on both sides so I can link to get our chest line, or in other words, our armhole depth. So this is the line where our armhole will be resting. Next, I want to determine my armhole line. Okay, so I'm bringing my shoulder width measurement down to this line, then I will link to my shoulder like this. So this is now the armhole line. Okay, now I'll divide this line into 2, but before then I'll have to slope the armhole. Okay, I am sloping. For an adult, you slope by 1.5, but for a child, slope by 3/4 inch. It is standard and it works very well. So I have sloped. Now this is the front. So instead of dividing the armhole line into 2, I'm using this measurement, the neck depth and neck width measurements. Okay, for the front. So remember, we got about 1 3/4 or about 2 inches there. So I've gone up by 2 inches, and then I'm going inwards by 1/2 inch, okay, to get a curve. Then on the chest line, I'm inserting the chest circumference divided by 4. You know, a child does not have bust, so we call it chest circumference. Divide it by 4, and then you mark that measurement at this point. Okay, so now I want to use my armhole curve to link these points and this other point here to the shoulder. Can you see? I have linked nicely and I have gotten the upper parts. So next, I'm inserting the waist circumference measurement divided by 4. Waist circumference is 21, divided by 4 is about 5 1/4, and I'm linking straight to the chest line. Can you see? So we are done with our front basically. You know, this is a child, so there is no need for that. Then after linking, I'm simply adding 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm marking 1/4 on this waistline. I'll also go to the chest line and mark 1/4. Then I will link nicely. So this is to give ease to the pattern, so that the pattern, when you want to sew with it, the dress will not be tight on the body of the child. Okay, you can give ease even more than this depending on the style you want to create, but I've given 1/4 inch for ease. Okay, so this ease is the difference between the actual body measurements and the dress. Okay, now for the back, you also bring this measurement to the back, the neck width measurement. Then for the neck depth for the back, you do 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch depending on the age of the child. Okay, so I just did 1/4 inch for my child, for a 5-year-old child, and then I am linking nicely. Can you see this? So we are done linking the neckline for the back. Next, we are also inserting the shoulder width, which is 5.5, 11 inches divided by 2, 5.5 I have marked. Now I'll also insert this chest line at the back. Let me measure the chest line again. Now after measuring, I'm taking same measurement to the back so that I'll get a straight line there, right? Okay, so I'm going to the center back also to mark out that same measurement. I've done that, and I will link nicely. This is just to guide me to get a straight line on that chest line area where the armhole will be resting, you remember? So now, having done that, I'll bring in the shoulder width measurement to that point, right? The shoulder width divided by 2, that is 5.5 I have marked, and I'll get my armhole line now, okay, by linking these 2 points together. So here we are. Next, this is the back, so I'm sloping the back by 3/4 inch, by 1/2 inch. Remember, the front was sloped by 3/4 inch, then the back is to be sloped by 1/2 inch. I have sloped, and now from this 1/2 inch point to the chest line, I will simply get my midpoint. Okay, just watch me. So I'm marking out the midpoint here. So it's from that midpoint now, I'll go in by 1/4 inch. Please take note of all these measurements. They are constant and they work very well for a child within this age range. Okay, now I'm inserting the chest circumference measurements I have marked here. So I will link from this point, chest circumference divided by 4, the same way we did for the front. So I'm linking the points together also to get my armhole curve for the back. Okay, it's quite an easy process if you are very careful and take note of all the measurements accurately. So on the waistline, I am simply inserting the waist circumference divided by 2. And I will mark 21 divided by 2 is about 5 1/4. I have marked, and I'm simply linking same to the chest line, the armhole depth. Okay, so I have here linked, and in the same vein, I will insert the ease of 1/4 inch on the waistline and on the chest line. Then I will link nicely. So that's what I'm doing right now. So we also have our ease for the back. Can you see our ease allowance for the back? Then next, to avoid the zipper bulging, we need to shape the back. Okay, from the center back, you just mark 1/4 inch inward. You know, for an adult, you are marking half an inch at this point, which is standard. Okay, but for a child, just mark 1/4 inch for the center back, the waistline on the center back. Then you link it to the neck point like this. So as you can see, we have also done our back tightening. Even for a child, if you don't do this, you have zipper bulging. We need the zipper to lie very flat. Now we are basically through. It's now time for us to cut out our pattern. Carefully follow me so you don't miss out any point as I'm cutting out the pattern. Now also, you need to do neck tightening for a child. You just come up, go down from this neck point. Okay, let me quickly show you. From this neck point, you go down by about 1/8. Okay, can you see I have redrawn? Can you see what I'm cutting out? Yes, so that will allow the neckline area to relax nicely. Okay, without the neck raising up. So I've done my neck tightening. So this is my center front and here is my center back. Always label before you cut out so you do not confuse your patterns. Okay, side front, side back. I'm done labeling, and here I'm also still cutting out the pattern. So our back and front patterns are all ready. So let me do the neck tightening for the back. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, I'm cutting off about 1/8 in that point too, from that point. Okay, so the neck, both back and front necklines have been beautifully tightened, and here are our patterns ready. So if you are new to this channel, this is how we roll here. We teach how to sew, how to draft. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe to the channel to get more educative videos like this and benefit yourself.